Hey guys, so today I just wanted to go over some of my maintenance stuff, kits that I use, gunsmithing stuff. I don't really gunsmith too much, but things that help me work on my guns or keep them clean, maintain them, change parts if I need to. Today I have my Staccato XC here. It's unloaded, as you can see. So first I was just going to kind of go through some of the things that I have and that I use for my guns. It's not only my Staccato, I have other guns as well, my Glocks, my ARs, things like that. The first thing is the Wheeler. I guess it's like kind of like their gunsmithing kit. It has all the different size screw heads, different widths, thicknesses, all of that. Comes with some of the specialized stuff up here for certain things you'll need it for. Honestly, haven't had to use any of these up here yet. But the flatheads are definitely useful. It comes with two different drivers. The other one I keep in my gun bag right now with whatever flathead I need to use on that gun for making adjustments that day. The other thing I have is the hex set. This is super handy. It's got all the different sizes that I've ever needed to use, especially with switching over stuff like the RMRs or red dot sights, changing out rails, things like that on my Rugers. So I mean, this is coming very handy as well. It's got pretty much every size you could ever need, and this has been very valuable to me so far. Set these over here. And my punch set. I've got some other punches elsewhere, the steel ones, but brass punches are a big deal, man. If you're gonna work on your gun or push some pins, you don't want to mar up the finish. Having the brass ones is great. This has helped me move. Just even sometimes the pins down here in the mag balls can be annoying to get out, so I'll use my little block and I'll tap them out. So all those things, I mean, total probably a little over $100 for everything, and totally worth it. It definitely helps. It makes your life a lot easier. And a couple other things I keep on my bench or with me, a little bit of blue Loctite. This is perfect for those screws that tend to come a little loose every now and again. The Mark IVs are kind of notorious for it on the Rugers. I have had on an older STI, one of my grip screws kind of started to come a little bit loose. So tighten them down and touch a little blue Loctite, no more issues. So far I haven't had any issues with anything loosening up on my sights. One of our other STIs, I did notice one of the screws for some reason loosened up a little bit in the slide. Wasn't Loctited down, so touch of that, you're all good to go. Other thing I keep, especially for my compensated stuff, this one doesn't really apply because it's a compensated barrel and it's all integrated. On my Glock, I do have a compensator from KKM on their KKM barrel. What I like to do is put a little bit of the anti-seize on there by Loctite. It's the copper based one. This stuff keeps it from seizing up, especially when you have like aluminum on steel. It's a lot better that way, just so you don't get it all locked up. I've had that problem before, and potential of destroying something on your gun. You don't want to have to pay for that again. So a little bit of this definitely helps. So as far as cleaning goes, I'm not going to show you guys how to clean a gun. There's a million and one different ways that everyone chooses to clean their guns. Different products they like to use, methods. Also like steps that they take. Some people soak things, some people use this, the sonic cleaners, things like that. I'm not going to really get into it too much. My dad taught me how to clean guns. So what I used to do was I would clean them after every time I shot them. That gets really tedious after a while, especially when you start shooting more and more often. At this point I do go to the range probably about once a week, sometimes once every other week, it really depends. I've kind of relegated myself to cleaning a little bit more when necessary, but I try to keep it at maybe like every 1,000 to 2,000 rounds tops. Just depends on the gun. Certain guns that I keep kind of ready to go for like a home defense thing or something I think I may, if something happens I got to use it, I try to keep those clean more often or clean after I shoot. My Staccato XC, I go about 1,000 rounds right now and then I clean it. No reliability issues, but I like to make sure that we don't ever run into that. So I try to keep my STIs fairly clean. About every 1,000 rounds to 2,000 rounds I'll clean them. As far as my Glock, that one stays clean all the time. It's kind of my go-to. ARs depends, they go different variations. Certain ones haven't been cleaned in over a year. It is what it is. Some, they get cleaned immediately. But some of the things I like to use, I do like the bore snakes. A bunch of different brands make them. You know, you got Hoppies, you know, bore snake. There's Real Avid's putting out some. They all work really well. This is my 9mm one. I have a few of these. I actually keep one in my bag just in case you need to, you know, run one through real quick. As far as my cleaning kit, I've been through a ton of different cleaning kits. Honestly, this kit is my favorite one so far. That's why I have two of them. This is the one I've been using for the last year and a half. It's the Real Avid Gun Boss Pro. Not too expensive, I think like 20 bucks. Picked it up, I started using it. It's missing the brush now because that brush actually broke, kind of deteriorated, so that's not like a long-standing one. So I bought my own little set of these brushes. I try to clean them every time I use them. Like, so after I use them, I wash them out real quick. I just get that stuff off. But as far as this kit, it's been really useful. The handle itself I really like, especially for my pistols. Why I have two is honestly, one, why not have the extra cleaning supplies? You never know if you lose one or something gets damaged. But two, I like to just keep one for my wipes, and then I like to keep one just for my my wire, like the brass wire brush for the bore. So I have one of each, so I don't have to keep switching the heads. Honestly, it gets kind of annoying and tedious. So with this one, it comes with a little brush here, a couple of these steel picks. I don't really use these too often, maybe really rarely to get in like something like a really tight spot. The two things that I do use the most, and then there's a couple punches, I don't really use those. These brass pieces, these picks, are absolutely amazing. I honestly never put them in the handle, I just use them like this. This is great for when you're trying to get in those grooves for the slide on the rails. I use this one to go through first, and then this one you kind of articulate it to get into that edge, which is awesome. I use both of these also for comps. If anybody's shooting a compensated gun, kind of like those block compensators on this, right here. So right in here, it builds up really fast on these guns. I'm trying to get the focus right. Well, either way. So it builds up really fast right in this area right here. So what I do is I'll soak it in one of my cleansers or cleaners, and then I come back, wipe it out, and then I'll use one of these to basically scrape it out. A lot of times it comes off in big pieces or chunks, so honestly, doesn't mar the finish, helps me clean it really well and really fast. It's a lot quicker than sitting there soaking it and then just rubbing on it with a Q-tip, which brings me to my next thing. One of my favorite cleaning tools, Q-tips. Q-tip brand too, because they're a lot tougher. These are great, and you know, your normal wipes, things like that. So that's my tools as far as cleaning. Like I said, this kit is my favorite, hence why I bought two. I honestly fell in love with these little picks. Like, they make my life so much easier. So close that up. Can't go without a brush. I use my brush to kind of knock down whatever's on there first, you know, basically by the firing pin, just brush that all out real quick, brush out the rails. It's just, you know, handy tool. Once I do that, that's when I kind of get into my cleaners. So as far as cleaners and solvents, everyone's got their go-to one. I've tried a bunch of those as well. Originally started with like Hoppies 9, love that stuff. It's what I kind of grew up on. I've tried shooter lube once before, and I did not like it. I tried it again, and seems to be, it does its thing. It's not my favorite. I mean, I'll use it. I know some people, they say it's amazing, and as soon as they spray something, everything wipes right off. That doesn't happen for me. I don't know if I need to leave it on there for an hour or something like that, but for me, spraying it on, stuff does not just wipe off. I've never seen a cleaner really do that. So, I mean, it works, it does its thing, it's not as I would say as they put out in their advertisement. But I have it, I use it. A couple of other things I'll use, sometimes like gun scrubber, barricade, and then the bore scrubber. Those are, I kind of run those in like my rifles, AR, stuff like that. As far as my high-end pistols, pistols in general, I've really been using the Hoppies again. I was using the Lucas oil. I still use it on my Glock, some of the other guns. I found that I prefer the Hoppies black oil in my STIs. It's kind of what they're going with too. Not to ride the bandwagon or anything, but I do like the thinner oil. The Lucas is a little bit thicker, and it, from what I've seen, it tends to hold stuff, kind of holds the carbon like sediment around a little bit longer, where I'm not noticing that as much with the Hoppies. The Hoppies kind of like lets it go away. Now, the reason why my Hoppies is in here, one, I love the way this distributes the oil. You know, I like the little, you can just like touch it, just a little drop on there. The other thing is the Hoppies container for the oil had one of those little like twist tops so you can drop the oil. First, it drops a fat drop of oil. I'm not a big fan of that. Two, it cracked. I tightened the lid because something was leaking somewhere, and then I guess at some point where this piece comes up to a nozzle, it cracked right here and was letting the oil out everywhere. So I ordered a few of these off Amazon and just poured the oil into them, and these are great. You can just throw one in your range bag if you need to. I haven't had these leak on me yet. As far as the cleaners, this cleaner seems to work really well. I really like it. I spray it down into the comp and I let it sit for a while, and it after some time, it definitely does help break some stuff up. There's a couple reviews on it. It's actually pretty neat. There's a guy out there on YouTube. I'll try and find his YouTube page again and link him. He, what he'll do is he burns gunpowder right there on a piece of steel. He does it like 3 or 4 times, and then he sprays on a cleaning chemical. So he'll do like Hoppies or some of the other ones, and let it sit for about 15 minutes, I think. And he comes in and wipes it. The Hoppies one, it was pretty neat. It wiped right off. The other one that he did, I forget the brand. I'm not bashing anybody, but he wiped it a bunch of times, and that stuff barely did anything. It just stayed all burnt up. So I do like this as my cleaning solution. Then the copper cleaner, this stuff's pretty cool. I've been using this, and I mean, it's like it's turned stuff blue in there, and it just keeps coming out until it finally starts coming out clean. I do really like this. This has helped me clean out a lot of copper out of a lot of guns that I thought were clean. They were actually still dirty inside. So those are kind of what I'm using. I do have a little Winchester bore light. I think it's actually dead right now. Yeah, I probably left it on. So I have one of these. This is great. Little cheapo one that came with another kit, I think. And then I have the gun grease. I honestly haven't really tried the grease yet. I don't think I'll be putting it in my pistols. This is probably something that'll end up going on some of my stored guns. Some of my rifles I'm not really just using very often. Probably just, you know, put a nice little thin layer and let them sit. So for storage. So that's pretty much what I'm using as far as cleaning, maintaining my guns. Hopefully that's helpful to some of you guys. If you have questions or concerns, just you know, drop a link below or a comment. Check me out on Instagram. It's 9mm Slinger. You can see some of the guns and stuff that I shoot. Yeah, appreciate you guys' time. Have a good day.